Alright, let's talk One Punch Man. Hello everybody, Infinite Shinjo here, and welcome to a special edition of Animated Discussions, which isn't really special, I just couldn't think of any other place to include it. Today, I'm going to be discussing One Punch Man. And the reason that it's a comparison animated discussions is because I'm going to be comparing Season 1 to Season 2. There has been a lot of hullabaloo in the community over how Season 2 is being done by a different studio than Season 1 is being done. So I figured to throw my hat in the ring, and since the show is finished, give my thoughts on how I feel about both seasons. So for starters, let's start with One Punch Man Season 1. Needless to say, One Punch Man took the world by storm in Season 1. It literally became an anime that you could just ask somebody, some random Joe on the street, hey, do you like anime? Have you watched One Punch Man? And most of the time, they would say yes. One Punch Man is one of those anime that just became synonymous with average stereotypical anime that everybody watches, alongside Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, all the Toonami ones. It became one of those anime that is simple to get into, you don't need much background on it, and it's hilarious. It's literally like a shonen because Saitama is overpowered and most shonen protagonists are overpowered. Sorry about that, Gon. But because One Punch Man Season 1 was such a success, there were so many people apprehensive to Season 2 being done by JC Staff. And at the end of the day, I can at least say for my own personal taste, I really like Season 2 of One Punch Man. Now granted, you can't really say that the story was better in Season 2 than Season 1, even if it was, because the story is going to be the same regardless of who directed it. If Madhouse directed Season 1 and Season 2, or if JC Staff directed both seasons. It would just be the same story at the end of the day, just animated differently. But as far as comparing the two seasons, I would say that Season 2 is probably my favorite to Season 1. Now, I'm sure that's a hipster opinion, but my logic is Season 1 was essentially the introduction. And after the first couple of episodes of learning how Saitama is overpowered, he kind of has his priorities in order, wanting to go to the store to get some sales and deals. But then in Season 2, we focus more on side characters rather than Saitama. We learn about Genos a little bit more. We learn about Garo and all the other heroes. We get introduced to the Psychic Girl sister, who becomes everybody's waifu. We learn about the dog hero, the sharpshooter hero, and even Surian, who gets more development than a lot of characters would in a show. I feel like just as a show in general, taking aside who directed both seasons, I would say Season 2 is my favorite, just because Season 1 got a little dull with it essentially being, oh, Saitama beats this dude with one punch. The fact that we get background on a lot of characters is so refreshing, especially since Garo became me and even my brother's favorite character from the show. Because Garo is essentially a protagonist, just in a twisted sense. He wants to keep fighting people to become stronger, he has reasons to fight. Just taking out the fact that he's a monster hunter, or a hero hunter I should say, he's essentially a shonen protagonist. But it might be a bit hypocritical of me to say that you can't really judge both seasons because they're directed by same people, and yet I ended up judging them. I don't know. At the end of the day, as far as the directing goes, who directed it, Madhouse or JC Staff, that's just all in people's heads. I can kind of understand that both JC Staff and Madhouse probably got the same amount of money to direct the seasons, but Season 1 looks better animation-wise. But for me, I don't really go into a show looking for animation. Now, granted, animation is definitely a plus, but I don't look at a show and say, oh, this is animated horribly, I'm not gonna watch this. Even a couple of scenes when Gaara was fighting was animated much better than a lot of people expected. But I don't know, at the end of the day, I wanted to make a video to acknowledge One Punch Man Season 2 because I'm making videos discussing everything else I watched from this season. So, leave your thoughts on what you think down below. If you think Season 2 of One Punch Man was a total failure, if you absolutely care about animation in a show, which, again, I admit it's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. Let me know if you think that JC Staff directing this season made you hesitate on watching it just a little, because I didn't mind. One Punch Man is One Punch Man. This video is probably all over the place anyway, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out on One Punch Man Season 2. So, for this animated discussion, One Punch Man Season 2 wins. Let me know what you think, and be sure to leave those hateful comments down below. I'll look forward to reading them. Momentai.